Good morning, everybody. How's everybody today on this beautiful day? It is just a really nice day to be out. The weather's good, it's cool, and had a great weekend. We have a beautiful guest here today, quite diversified woman. She's a dynamo. Her name is Donna Stefans. Welcome, Donna.
Good morning. Thank you for
And
having me.
this firm, I'm looking at your Stefans Law Group, the center for everything. It's like one-stop shopping. I love it. I just love it. A lot of people need these kinds of things in their life, so I am totally happy to have you here,
Thank
and
you. I'm
glad that
happy to be here.
yeah. I just have to see more. Here we go. So Greg is not here today, unfortunately. He didn't get home on the plane last night, so he's at the airport. So he's going to miss meeting you, but you will meet him another time, and we look forward to that happening. And today is a special day for me because my granddaughter graduated from high school yesterday. We had a big party, the party to die for. We had a guitar player to die for. The weather cleared up, and I got to see, some family I haven't seen for a while. And they live in Maryland, and they had the party here on Long Island, which was really good. And I really was happy about that.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So yesterday was great. I know we had some bands here on the weekend at G's, and I think they were pretty crowded. We have a lot of things coming up. When you leave, you look on the wall. We have all the things we have. We have all kinds of different things. Bingo, which is a little wacky. We have the shootings where they have like make-believe murders. We have that. We have bands, really nice bands,
Like a
charity
murder
events.
mystery kind of a
Yes.
theory
We
thing.
have charity events here all the time. I'm always looking for sponsors for charities. Like if you need to, sponsor a charity because they're something of your heart, you could sponsor a charity and they come on, and you don't. It depends on what you like to do. And we do anything and everything here. As I told you, the Breakfast Club is about everything and nothing, and everybody, and all the things you need to have a business, fix your bathroom, get a kitchen, be in a movie, whatever. And we meet some really great people. So we're glad to have you. And every day is a special day that we know about. So today, on this date, it is Read a Book Day.
Okay.
So you know I have two books.
We
Those
have
are
a
my
book
two
right here
books.
on the
Yeah.
table. I see it.
But every day, I don't know if you know this, it's a good marketing thing. Every day means something, like today. You Google what's today, and you put the date in, National Day. You find out what all the national days are, and if you need to build morale in your office, it could be Tootsie Roll Day. You buy everybody Tootsie Rolls. Something different. How many people are in your firm?
So we have 3 teams in our firm, and there's about 15 people in the firm.
That's a nice size.
Yes.
Yeah,
Average 5 on a team.
very nice. So do you do the whole team building thing, like if one person gets something great, you all win, that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I was raised that way. I was in media first, and I've done a lot of different kinds of jobs, but the team approach is great. And when you have a big sales team doing a lot of sales, you have to reward them all the time, whether it be with the ice cream or a silly little clip for their stuff that they put their papers in, or it's important. Morale's a big thing, especially now
Right.
because of the pandemic.
Well, it's important that when you get up in the morning,
You're happy.
that you're happy and that what you're going to do in your day is going to, I think, make a difference in the world.
Absolutely. So now I know you believe in networking because I met you at a networking event.
Yes.
And that was in Babylon. Where were we?
Babylon,
Right.
Taste the Greats.
Right. We were in
That
the
was a fun fundraiser.
we were in the VIP lounge,
Yes.
and Steve from Anchor Down was making those delicious crab cakes.
Yes.
And he's a great guy. Have you ever been to his restaurant?
I haven't, but
An-
now I will.
Anchor Down.
Yeah.
It's got 2 locations. When you go, tell him Valentina sent you. He's a
Right.
big sponsor of ours.
Uh-huh.
And the food is excellent. They make great lobster rolls there, too.
And do you know Echo from Echo Entertainment, Echo Events?
No,
was
who's
the,
that?
the music for the night and in the VIP.
Them,
So
I don't know.
Everybody having a great time that evening.
Oh, it was fun.
Uh-huh.
And it was nice and dark upstairs.
Yes.
It was very nice. And then outside, it was nice too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of people there.
Yes.
Yeah. I had brought somebody with me, but then I lost her for the night. And I
But
never
you
saw her
found
again.
me.
Yes, and we had a great visit. And what was the name of that lovely lady I met with you?
Oh, my friend Michelle.
Michelle. We're sorry. We thought you were coming today. We miss you.
Oh, hi, Michelle.
Yeah. So it's good to hear about her. She's good.
She is a brilliant scientist.
Scientist.
Uh-huh. And,
Oh,
and
God.
and a teacher
Wow.
as well.
Unbelievable. We have some people watching already. We have Susan. We have Joe Luna. We have Ray Luisi. Shub. Hi, Shub. How you doing? And we have Jenny, Jennifer, and we'll see who else is watching. So let's talk about how you started.
Okay.
So you didn't always do this. You came from a different background.
Do what? I'm not sure. What do I do? What don't I do?
Well, before you started this fabulous Stephens Law Group.
So, right. So,
So this is your second act.
yeah. So I started out as growing up being a dancer, singer, actress. That was my hobby, and I thought showbiz was going to be my life.
Wow.
And I was doing some gigs down in the Broadway area. And
Really?
and now I'm about 15 years old, and people said, "Well, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And something told me that this career choice wasn't probably going to be the path.
Well, it's hard to be an actress when you're young, and
Yes.
it's hard to make money. You have to waitress in order to make it.
It was, yes. And so I said, maybe I continue this one as a hobby. And then I had to get serious about college and majors. And so my mom, she had started an accounting and financial planning business. So
That's Marilyn, right?
Marilyn Stephens, my
Stephens.
mom.
Hi, Mom.
Who is still my business partner today. And she's, can I say on TV, she's a certified badass.
She's a certified badass?
She's a certified badass. Marilyn is a certified badass.
She's
yes.
she my age? Is she my age? She's like
I will never tell you Marilyn's age, but I will tell you never get into a sword fight with Marilyn and her calculator.
Well, I'd like to meet your mom. I think we could go at it.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. In fact, if we could get her on Facebook Live, that would be great.
Yeah, we can't right now. No, we can't right now. But
we'll get her.
But we could do it another time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody in my world can grab her on and get her to be typing in and saying hello.
Well, she could do that.
Yes.
She could do that. That's no problem.
Yes.
She could do it right now. Someone just said he loves the backdrop, so thank you, Cliff. Loves it. We love the backdrop.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, it's a New York one. Yeah.
In the New York Minute.
Yeah, so you were a dancer.
So we hightailed it, yeah.
So how did you change? Your mother? Was it your mother's influence, or?
Well, I had the aptitude to do it.
You just were having fun.
Fun doing this other part, right? And so anyway, I decided to join the family business. I figured I could do this too. So I got my finance and accounting degrees. I got my financial planning brokerage licenses out of right at the end of college, and had fun working down on Wall Street for a few years, when Marilyn called me up one day and said, "I have a problem." And I'm like, "What's your problem?" She said, "I need an in-house attorney. I need an in-house estate planning attorney, because I do all of this estate planning from the financial side, but I don't have the degree to work with clients on that. Mm-hmm. Do you want the job?" So that meant I was going to law school.
So she said, "It's time for you
to do this.
Step up and help the family and get involved."
And yes, and with all of her brilliance, I did. I went to law school, and we.
How long did that take?
3 years.
I thought it took longer. That's pretty good. You got it done quick.
3 years, but with a focus on estate planning.
Right. So that's your niche.
Yes, and while I was in law school, and I was, working with different attorneys, internships, and in the surrogates courts. On Long Island, I found elder law. Which is so important. Yes, and I didn't really understand what it was, and I didn't know what the difference was and the nuances of that, and how it all works. So So I was focused on estate planning, found elder law, and also special needs.
Which is
estate
another
planning.
important thing for the special needs.
Right.
So you really do a lot. So do you do all of those three things, and then you have other departments that do other things?
Yes. So in the
So
law
that's why you
practice,
call it the Fabulous Four.
right. Well, the Fabulous Four are the documents, but what we really focus on is all of the parts of your financial life. So from from the legal to the financial to the tax implications that you're doing, it really is a holistic approach of putting all the pieces together for a financial successful journey.
So it's almost like when you buy insurance and you have an umbrella plan.
Right.
Only it's for your personal gain and your family life and
Right.
yeah, long
So
term.
we say it's our family helping your family
I like your marketing.
through the journey of life.
The journey of life is big, and it takes a long time to get through.
Right.
Sometimes when you get to be, in your 60s, you haven't even done anything like what you do. And often I talk to people all the time saying, "Is your house in trust?" Because I was affected by something like that, and it wasn't. And I try to tell people, but people are afraid. I just had a client call the other day and said, "We went through it, we brought them, they won't do it. They're afraid, the parents." I'm like, "But nothing changes." So how do you deal with that? Have you had that happen to you where people come in and then say, "Absolutely not, we're not doing it," the parents?
So people have the fear of the unknown,
Yes.
right? So what we would like is for people, to be able to get through life's challenges, to live the biggest and the most happiest, successful life that they can lead.
And financially less stressed.
Yes, but the thing that they don't want to face is the possibility of getting sick
And dying.
the fact that we're all going to die someday. And we're all going to do it, right? But how about we never think about like it's going to happen today or something's
Right.
going to happen tomorrow. And,
Right.
you need to prepare for these things.
Well, the people that get affected are the people that lose people early and they don't realize.
Right.
And sometimes couples are married, but they don't really talk.
Correct.
And sometimes a husband or a wife has something done and it's in the drawer and nobody finds out about it until they die. I have a lot of experience with this.
I mean, I could tell you a story on each one of those notes.
Yeah.
It is the facts. The communication has to be there.
Yeah.
And really investing in yourself and taking the time just for a little while
Right.
to focus on these things, because it's the biggest thing that keeps people up at night and nobody wants to talk about it.
Exactly.
Nobody wants
And
to
then
share.
you also have the thing with when some people get separated and divorced. Do you deal with that? Like, how do you explain you guys have to do something here?
Yes.
And then you're dealing with a husband and an ex-wife or whatever.
Right. So
And
really, estate planning and elder law is the financial planning from the legal side, right? So when we look at all the financial assets and we figure out what you have, and then we create a legal plan based on it.
Right.
And what the story of your life is at the moment or what it could be.
Right.
So when people think about retirement, no, a lot of people don't even want to think about retirement. Like, oh my God, I've worked for 40 years and now what do I do with myself? But a lot of people look forward to retirement.
Yeah, well, when they retire, they join the Breakfast Club.
There it is.
And that's what we do.
That's it.
But and you go to parties and you have a good time, but you need to have the money to do it.
Well, yeah, but people think about, well, when I retire, I'm going to travel. When I retire, I always wanted to learn how to paint.
Yes, but only 5 out of 10 do that.
Oh, is that a
Yeah,
number?
maybe
I didn't
6,
even know that
yeah.
number.
Everyone says they want to do things, but unless they really get pushed, they don't.
Right.
Except the travelers, the ones that, the prima donnas that really want to travel.
But
They
I
do
can
it.
guarantee you, nobody says, I'm going to retire and then I'm going to get sick and I'm going to
No.
need care. And how am I going to pay for that care?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the dialogue people have
No,
in
they
their
don't think
minds for a
about it.
happy retirement. Right? But it's the fear that they have for what if it happens. So when you go back to your question, do you ever have anybody that comes in and they freeze?
Yeah.
Yes. And we really do need to keep going through it until they understand it. If you can't make a decision today,
Come
think
back.
about it,
Right.
and we'll keep working on a plan. But,
Right.
I always talk about the concept. You've heard it before. I know you've heard the phrase before. People don't plan to fail.
No, and they don't really, unfortunately, the older, they don't trust the kids for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't trust them, but they're afraid.
Yeah. So they don't plan to fail. They fail to plan.
Right. That's very
And
true.
So we try to make it as easy as possible to, we always say, plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Well, do you get a lot of calls from people when they're in the hospital?
This was a very big thing during COVID.
Yeah.
It was a very scary world
Yes.
in elder law. And I think a lot of people at home started thinking about, oh my goodness, I don't have a will. And who's going to take care of me if I get sick?
Right.
All of a sudden, this became a reality for everybody, whether it even happened to them or not.
And you do that.
Yes.
Now, if you have a will, you still need a trust.
Yes. Well, we talk about, as you...
See, I know all this.
Yeah, good.
But I learned the hard way.
Right. Well, we talk about there's planning for life
Right.
and planning for the afterlife. Right? So while we're here, we want to make sure that we're taken care of. Right? We pick the right people. You empower yourself
Right.
to pick the right people to handle your financial affairs
People you trust, absolutely. Mhm.
and to make your medical decisions. Right? Because if you don't pick and you need help, guess who's picking for you? A judge?
Right.
Do you want a judge deciding? in
No,
a
you want a
courtroom
judge
who's going
just-
to take care of you?
Right. Or who's going to get your house if
Or
something
who's going to
happens.
right?
Right.
And who's going to protect your house or
Yeah.
get you the care you need?
Mariana Iaboni, nice to hear from you. She's saying, have a great day. She likes the conversation. She needs to know
Hi.
more about this. Elisa, thank you, Elisa, for watching. So little by little, people write in.
Oh, do they
Yeah.
ask questions?
Well, they do sometimes. Depends on how many people we have on. So,
Okay.
okay,
Shoot
so you
away.
do the last will and testament.
So we have the Fabulous Four, right? We call it the Fabulous Four. I try to keep it, a happy, nice name to plan for.
It is. I like that. You should have like the four of you, whoever you, although you should have four people dress up as each one of these things.
Oh my goodness,
in a media thing.
There's already four people that already, dressed up. I didn't make the name up myself. We know who the Fabulous Four is, right? I mean,
No,
we
I'm
know
teasing
them.
you, like a Mike marketing thing.
But yes,
Wackos, because wacky things sell.
this is true.
I'm
This is
telling you,
true.
that's how I think anyway.
Very true.
So let's go to the durable power of attorney, which is another very hot topic.
Yes.
Somebody gets sick, the kids get all crazy. We got to change this because Dad can't do it anymore, or my husband can't do it anymore.
I would say that the power of attorney is your most important planning document in the life care side. So, again, legally appointing the people that you trust to handle your financial affairs and your medical decisions. You're empowering yourself by doing that.
Yeah, because you know you could trust that person, and they're going to do the right thing, and it's all going to be in writing, and nobody could change it because you're going to be dealing with a legal person that does it, like yourself.
Right. So the power of attorney is the document that you appoint somebody to handle your financial affairs if you cannot do so yourself. Point blank. Right? So even if you've not done any of the rest of the planning, just by having the power of attorney and also the health care directives.
That's the person that's
handles your
what's that
medical
called?
decisions, the healthcare proxy
right,
agents.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you just do all that, and that's probably what I would have told those people that got stuck and didn't want to move forward with their planning.
Right.
We start somewhere.
Right. And then you grow into other things.
Yes. And so at least we know in the crisis, you have the right people there to stand up for you.
Oh, Gracie's watching too. Hi, Gracie.
Hi, Gracie.
So, a lot of people don't realize that if they have a will and testament, that's not enough.
No, a last will and testament is just who gets what and how they get it when you pass away, which is important. Yes, very important. Everybody should have a will, but does nothing for you for your lifetime at all. And, there's a lot of myths about this stuff.
Yes.
So people think, well, I have a spouse. I've been married 30 years. We have
Yeah.
a great relationship. Okay. So if I get sick, my spouse can just handle everything.
No, that's not the case.
No, your spouse can't go touch your 401k.
Right.
Your house cannot sign your name to a deed to protect the house if you need care. Care's expensive.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need to go for some of those government benefit programs like Medicaid to help us get the care we
Well,
need.
that's the next thing. Do you do that? Who helps the person get on Medicaid when they're out of money?
Yeah,
Or-
so this is in the elder care basket of
Right.
work and things that we prepare for, the asset protection planning.
Right.
So there's life care planning, and then there's who gets what when I pass away.
Right.
And then there's the what happens if I get sick? Do I have enough money to take care of myself?
And
I don't know. I don't know that many people that have $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 a month just to spend on taking care of me every day, dressing, bathing, feeding, transferring, getting up out of the chair to a bed. This costs a lot of money. And so, do you have that kind of money?
most people don't.
Most people don't.
And most people are uneducated on the fact that, yes, you can have some money in the bank, not much to go on Medicaid, right?
Yes.
Not much, though. And if you do have money, you have to spend it down before you go on Medicaid, correct?
Well, I guess that's the easy way to do it, but the hard way to do it.
Right. So let's talk about that. People don't realize my mom is sick. She can't take care of herself anymore. She owns a house. What happens?
So, I would say almost every single person that I've ever met with will say, I want to stay in my home for the rest of my life.
Community Medicaid.
I don't want to go to a nursing home.
Right. A lot of people.
I don't know many people that want to go to a nursing home.
Well, now, after the pandemic, I don't blame them.
Before,
Well,
anytime.
I would like a fancy schmancy
Okay,
one.
so right. The assisted living is a community living.
Yeah, I can't
independent
afford it
living.
anyway, but yeah.
There's many great, beautiful
Oh, yeah, you need money.
social living environments. I could see you running the show over there.
Oh, yeah,
There's-
but I didn't get the job. I went on 3 of those interviews.
So, well, let's talk to you when you're 95. We're going to be there with the mic, and you're going to be running the show, and that would be fun.
I worked at an assisted living. It lasted 13 days
Oh.
because it was like the Love Boat.
Oh.
If you read my book, it's a chapter called The Love Boat. I lasted 13 days because, it's hard to walk. When you work in an assisted living as like a social person and director, you not only have to move all the walkers, you have to serve the Jewish meal on Fridays,
Oh, yeah.
serve the wine, use glasses, you can't use paper, and use the knife to cut the bread. And then you have to do the shalom shalom.
Oh.
You also have to take 4 elevators to 5 different rooms a day because there's something going up in each room. And
Sure.
you've got to really have roller stakes. Did I like it? Yes. They feed you well. Everybody's happy because they're all loaded with money. And it's a great place to work. But I should have been like 25 to take that job.
Oh, boy.
But I did like it, and I lasted 13 days, and I left on a stretcher because it was too much for me. I have, a little disability, but I wanted to try it, and I did enjoy it. But most of the people there thought I was a resident
Oh.
because of the way I dress and everything. So they thought I was just a resident. I could be a resident very easily.
Right.
So, yes, let's talk about that. So,
the fact is more people are going to need some type of assistance
yes.
in their older age. We start getting maybe slower,
Right.
tired, weaker, or don't want to do things.
And, we're talking about moms here now. Not that we all need it, but, crisis is when your mom, what are we going to do with mom? What are we doing? So there's this new thing called community Medicaid, correct?
Right. So if we want to stay at home, it means staying in the community, in your home, or a condo, or maybe an independent living type of place where there's a social model involved. But the fact is, there's no regular health insurance that covers long-term care, custodial care. People think when they have Medicare, and you could have all of the A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
I have F.
It doesn't cover transferring,
No.
bathing, dressing, the things that you actually
And if you stay home,
brushing
you
your
need more.
teeth. And the question is, who do you want to help you brush your teeth
Not your husband.
when you get older, right? Probably not your kids either, right?
Well, when you don't have a choice, but you really want someone that knows how to help you, that you could be private with.
Right. So you would like, so
An
I
aide.
think you would be somebody that would want to call the shots.
I think so.
Yeah. And say, this is the kind of care I want, this is how I want it, and this is how we're going to pay for it.
Right.
So if we don't start a life care plan
Now,
early,
right.
then how are we going to have the money to pay for it? Or did we protect our assets in time?
Right. And then
To
your
be able
kids
to
wind
get-
up getting dumped on for no other choice because you need them.
Right. And so I see many an adult child in our office that come in and say, Mom or Dad needs care. We don't know what they have. We don't have these documents.
They don't.
We don't have a power of attorney.
Right.
We don't know what's going on. And we've been going, I've been taking my days off. I took all my vacation time. I'm going after work and sleeping there. And
You hear it all.
can. Some of them leave their families, move back in with their parents. And, it's a whole.
It then becomes dysfunctional. Yeah, I know.
Right. And so it takes a village to take care of somebody.
Yes.
It does, but it doesn't mean that we can't have capable, licensed healthcare workers helping us
Right.
do that. There's only so much a family can do.
Right.
So the bottom line is with community Medicaid, again, most people say, I want to stay home.
Yes.
I've been living in my home for 40 years. I don't want to go anywhere. I'm
Right.
happy. So now we have the cost of care, which could range anywhere from $4,000 to $15,000, $20,000 a month for real, right? That's a lot of money. And then we still have to pay, our real estate taxes, upkeep the house, the lawn care, you name it, the food and heat. I don't know what the cost of oil
Oh,
is
it's
these
bad.
days.
No, relate to all of it.
Right? So how do we pay for all that? If we can barely get by on our Social Security and maybe a pension check.
Maybe.
Yeah. So to get community Medicaid, what you really need to do first is protect your home.
And your home should be in trust.
In a trust, yes.
Right.
So we utilize asset protection trusts in order to protect the house.
So that's the key thing.
Right.
One of the key things going forward. But what about the 7-year look back? What is that all about?
So I keep hearing about this 7-year look back. There is no 7-year look back.
It isn't?
There is no. That is
Well,
another
why
one
do
of the
people
myths.
think that?
I don't know. But if you find out where you heard about the 7-year rule, please let me know.
Everybody talks about it.
Because it's a 5-year rule.
Okay, it's
It is
fine.
5 years. It hasn't changed to from 5. But what has changed, so there's two things, okay? So there's a 5-year look back and penalty period for nursing home Medicaid.
Right.
So that means if I have to go to a nursing home and I need the government to pay for it, because I can't afford $20,000 a month, right? They're going to do an audit of you
5 years.
for 5 years.
Okay.
So my office does those application, and the pile of papers about this high, and it's 5 years of every bank statement, 5 years of everything.
So they know that 5 years ago you didn't know you owned your house. So they take some of that money from you?
Well, they
or-
can put a big giant lien on your house,
Right. That's what I thought. Right.
but there's lots of things that can be done here. But the real point here is, if that were the case, the way to go to a nursing home, and they want to see how you got down to only having $15,000 in your name,
Right.
right? And how you gave your money away, and it could be still very costly.
Right.
So they're going to send you a Medicaid penalty forward. So they'll let you in, but they're going to make you go back and get the money you gave away in the last 5 years.
Right.
Or sue the people you gave it to for not giving it back. I mean, if you guys are not seeing dollar signs here and a nightmare, it is. But for home care, it's not a 5-year penalty.
Well, the community Medicaid.
Right.
You stay home.
You stay home, but up until, there was a law that came into place. If you haven't heard about the law, in January 2020, right before COVID hit, a new law came into place that there was a 2.5-year look back and penalty period for home care.
Right. And
Prior to that, there were not.
Right. And that remained that with the Medicaid at home, they might want you to sign your social security checks over or something like that.
Yes.
And
well,
then
this
they
is-
pay your bills.
Right. Well, so this
That
is a whole.
I don't like either.
Well, I can explain the benefit of that because that concept does get a little confusing.
Yeah,
for
people don't understand that.
But let's talk about the assets first.
Yes.
Your house, your financial assets. You still only can have $15,000 in your name to qualify, and retirement accounts you can keep. But a house counts as an asset.
Right.
So
But
you
a
have to be very,
retirement
very
they can't
careful.
touch, right?
Right. Well, sort of.
Yeah, there's a loop with that
There
too.
is a loop too, but so.
So what does that tell you guys? If you have money, put it in trust for your children, your grandchildren,
for yourself?
because it's going to be, better for you, right?
Put it in trust for yourself
And
first.
nobody does it, guys. You know what? Do it. You'll be, you're better off. And it does cost to do these things. It's not cheap, correct?
Well,
Trusts are not cheap.
They're not cheap, but they're not as expensive as probably even maybe 1 month of care.
Right. And losing the money.
And losing all the money.
Mm-hmm.
So this new law that came into place January 2020, because of COVID, they pushed it and they pushed it. And now our latest deadline on this, for this new law to come into place, is October 2022. So anybody that needs help and care is going under the old rules where we're not having a 2.5-year look back and penalty period.
So they
we
have
can
till
still
October.
we can still do some of this planning, and we can get things set up the right way. But after October 2022, or
It's going to
October
5
1,
years?
it goes to 2.5-year look back and penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really a critical time for people to understand now is the time to plan, because there isn't going to be grandfathering later. And so it will be a 2.5-year look back and penalty period for home care, and still a 5, not a 7-year
Yes.
look back for nursing home care. So who's got that kind of time? If you really, if you're fine today, but you get sick in a month from now,
Exactly.
do you have 2.5 years?
Well, that's what I tell
It's a
people.
long time.
I always tell people, tomorrow you could fall off the roof. I mean, it's a terrible thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do and you need the care, guess what, guys? You better make sure your house is in trust.
Right. And so what we're
I
talking.
have a weird way of saying things.
Yes.
But it's the truth.
Right. No.
It happened to me, so, yeah. I mean, I'm fine, but again, it's the truth. The truth, matters.
Right.
Well, you explain everything very easily. Not everybody does.
Thank you.
And I'm a little knowledgeable, so,
I don't know. I think you know a lot.
well, not everything, but I try to help people make the decisions to do, at least go,
Right.
because it's sort of a passion of mine, don't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But you only make a mistake once, and then you learn from that mistake.
Well, this is a very expensive one to make.
Yeah, it's true.
Just not to plan anything. So to look away, because this is hard to think about.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very hard to deal with later.
Yeah, it's like your mother's like pouncing around right now having a ball, you're taking her to lunch, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? You better think about this for the future.
Right. So again, the myth is that because you love your parents, because you love your spouse, if something happens to them, you could just go help them. No financial institution is gonna let you in the bank. Hi, I gotta handle my mom's money now.
You
Yep,
can't even
gotta
sign
move."
a check for anyone anymore.
No. There's too much liability. There's
My
too
bank,
much fraud.
you can't even fill out a
Yeah.
deposit card. Now the new bank, you need to just use the debit card to do everything when you go in the bank.
Oh, really?
You can't even nothing. It's
Yeah.
unreal.
True.
It's weird, but I guess it's the times.
Right. So this is why I say you start slow. You get the advanced directives: power of attorney, healthcare proxy, living will. You get those in order. And then, we look at the legal plan, we look at your financial assets, and we create a life care game plan, for now, for if we get sick, and if we need care. You want to set things up not only for yourself, but for your spouse, for your children, for the people that you care about, so that if, things go the way we hope they wouldn't have gone,
Right. Yeah.
you're taken care of. And
Absolutely.
your family is taken care of, right? We don't want to leave spouses destitute because one spouse got very sick and it costs
Exactly.
a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, We need to keep everybody healthy, financially
Yeah.
healthy in the community. That's
Absolutely.
the goal. And live a happy retirement life.
Well,
or live a
sure.
life even not in retirement.
Well, it's sad sometimes because you find out about someone that was ready to retire and never got a chance to.
That's true.
That's a tough one,
Yeah, there are some statistics out there that say more than 50% of people uh, either die or become disabled before they're 65.
Right. It's very true.
That's why the Social Security age was 65. The actuarial numbers on life expectancy
Right.
said so.
It's true.
Now they've increased the number. I think we've gotten all a little bit healthier, right? People are
Yeah.
aging, living longer.
They are living longer, yeah.
Right, so if I retire at 60, 62, first of all, do I have enough money to live through retirement? What if I turn into 103?
Yeah, well, that's true. And then your life insurance, I heard, only goes to a certain age sometimes.
Yes.
Which is really scary. I didn't realize that.
Right. Well, I guess for yourself, you don't need it. Your family needs it.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So what about the tax? What's the whole Summit tax group? Is that separate?
So Summit Tax Advisors is our accounting firm, because whatever you do for your legal and your financial planning, well, you better make sure that whatever you're planning, you don't have a tax explosion, right? In many instances, we see people that have annuities, and
When they touch their retirement or their annuities?
yes, they have annuities that they bought as financial planning items, and then if we want to maybe take those assets and put them in an asset protection trust, there could be a tax consequence to that.
When you move the money.
Right. So as an accountant, or if you have your own accountant, you really do need to check in on what's the taxability of making changes, doing things. So you can't just do legal documents in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You really need to look at what your financial assets look like, layer them onto your legal plan, and then understand the tax ramifications of it. It's important to really see how they all interplay together, and it's a very holistic approach to planning. So, Marilyn Stefans, my mom, she
Your
heads
mom.
up the accounting practice.
Mom and daughter is great. I
Yes.
wish I would have met her.
You
I'll meet her
will.
the next time.
You
I
will.
love mother-daughter duos. I think it's great.
Yes.
She
so
sounds like a crackerjack.
Marilyn is absolutely my mentor. Yes, I took my first income tax class with her in the bassinet. Not kidding. I was on the table with her.
Aw, that's cute.
A long, long time ago. I'm not telling you the year.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
So, but everything is a natural progression
Right.
here.
So now let's talk about the special needs children, people in general. Do parents usually start thinking about it right away or no?
I think it is the most challenging
Yeah, it's
for
hard.
people that have children or adult family members with special needs that they have to take care of. So they all know there's two very important rules about this, right? So first of all, as a person with special needs, to get your government programs and get SSI and Medicaid, you can only have $2,000 in your name.
Yes.
Who can survive on $2,000, right? And then you get these government benefits. Medicaid has a couple of carve-outs, but SSI, $2,000 in their name, they know all that.
For the child.
For the child.
Right.
Or adult child, depending on when they're getting that benefit.
Right, yes.
But, so here's the thing. As the parent or the caretaker, they are up at night saying, if I'm not here, who's going to take care of my child? Who's going to give them the love, the care, the financial support that I do? Oh, and by the way, if I leave them money, they're not going to get their government benefits.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So this is daunting, right? Because this person really can't ever take care of themselves. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
people hope that their children grow up and they get on their own and they fly the nest and they get careers and build lives on their own. But the
Some
reality
do.
for some people is
Some
that that's
do,
not going to
right.
be the case, and they
Plus,
will
if
always
they
need help.
work, if they are good, when they work, they can't make more than a certain amount, or
Right.
they'll take them off. I know.
Right. So for that parent or caregiver, we do special planning. And there's another thing that people think, oh, well, I just won't leave anything to the child with special needs. You mean the one that needs it more than anybody? No,
Yeah.
because they'll lose their benefits. I'll leave it to my daughter, Susie.
To take care of them.
But I'll leave it to somebody else. I'll leave it to Susie.
Yeah, and Susie could marry John, and John could screw her out of all
Take
the
the
money.
money, get divorced. You could have the best kid in the world, but if they get into a car accident and somebody sues them, the money that you were holding aside for their special needs sibling, all subject to a lawsuit.
Yeah, it's true.
So
No,
it's-
I've heard of these
or
things.
what if it, take the, I hate to keep bringing it up, but the pandemic. People weren't working.
Well, the pandemic was a
But people
example.
weren't working. It's a situation. Well, what if Susie, I don't mean to pick on her, but like Susie needed the money to care for her own family. Oh, I'll put
Right.
it back. Oh, like when I start working again, I'll get it back. The bottom line is don't put somebody else's life risk in somebody else's hands.
Right.
So if you want this money to be for the special needs child or another adult with
Right.
special needs, then we have tools for that. We have
Exactly.
special needs trusts, and we can create them on their own, or we could put them in a will, or we could put them in an irrevocable type of trust. We could put it in any place that says, I leave this to my son John, who has special needs of some kind, and it is meant to supplement but not take away their government benefits.
Right. No, this
This is
very
huge.
involved.
This is huge.
I
That
know.
means you could leave your retirement account. You could leave your life insurance. This is a very big planning tool on life insurance because if you want to leave money, we know we'll have this money on the side in the policy.
Right.
It goes straight to that person with a person you trust to take care of them, a trustee that you choose.
Well, I just had a client that didn't know there was a life insurance policy, and she was like the beneficiary, and she got taken off of SSI because of that. They had to change that whole policy. How the heck did she know?
Yep.
So these are things that people do not realize.
Well, also with SS, so there's SS, okay. There's Social Security retirement benefits, which pretty much everybody knows.
Right.
You can get anywhere from age 62 and up to 70, and then you start
Right.
taking it, right? We all get that if we worked a certain amount of time in our lives. And then there's SSD, which is Social Security Disability,
Right.
which also falls generally under the category I've worked, I've put in the 40 quarters of time, right, whatever the parameters are, and now I can't work. I'm certified disabled. On the job injury or just, I can't work anymore, right? I'm an adult in the community. I can't work anymore. And now Social Security Disability, SSD, will give me a benefit
A little more money, right.
until I turn old enough to get the Social Security regular retirement
Right,
income.
right.
So one drops off, one picks up. But they are just based on the fact that you have worked, or your spouse or your parent, and you can't work any longer. So these are your standard government programs. They don't look at your assets. They just know that you can't work, and we're going to give you the income pick-me-up in the community. Well, wait, then there's SSI, Social Security
financially.
income, meant for people who are disabled.
Right.
They have been disabled, and they really will. They've never worked. They never will be able to really work anything really substantial.
Right.
And they need the government program. I mean, maybe they could do things like, small jobs, work,
Right.
maybe be a busboy, be a helper, do things. I mean, they can be, great assets in the community,
Oh, they
but they're
can.
not going to be big earners.
No.
So they need this income benefit. This is what we call a means-based tested program, where you can't have more than $2,000 in your name. So for you and I that have been working all these years, if we became disabled, God forbid, we would go for SSD.
Right.
But these are people that, for their lives, really.
Well, you get a
generally-
little more when you're on that
right
than your regular Social Security.
So what happens is, and I had a case unfortunately recently where a man died. He only had nieces and nephews. He said, I want to leave everything to my nieces and nephews. But one of the nieces has been disabled since birth. She has autism.
Yeah.
And so she's a lucky girl like the other three, and she received $200,000 in a retirement account and $400,000 in non-retirement assets,
Wow.
$600,000.
But
right?
somebody has to
Wait.
manage that.
Well, what happened? She was on SSI.
So
So
they
she
threw her off.
fell off SSI. She fell off her Medicaid. Oh, wait. And now every dime the government gave her for
They
SSI,
took back.
they're taking it back. So the first amount of money is now going back to pay back the government. Now, luckily, in this case, the parents are alive. So they will be able at some point to help her with some of her benefits and the things she needs. And the sad part is she was getting a great day hab program. Every day she went to a center and had a wonderful, amazing program. Oh, wait, that program costs $900 a day.
Yeah. I've heard so many of these stories.
And
That's
so
why-
now it has to come out of that $600,000, which, okay, I understand, but none of this has to happen that
Well, that's
way.
why it's important that people reach out to you.
Right.
Because people do not realize this, and it's sad.
The other three are going to get their money free and clear. They're going to use this money for their life.
Right.
The other one, it's going to be gone in very short order. So in the special needs planning arena, we can decide, we can do a supplemental special needs trust.
Right.
You can set it up so that you as a parent can set it up and say, okay, grandparents, you wanted to leave something to Susie. Thank you, or Johnny,
Yeah.
whomever. Thank you so much. I set up this vehicle right here. All you have to do is leave it to that if you're going to.
Yes,
Thank you so
yes.
much. So everybody doesn't have to do this.
No.
Just the point guard.
Right.
So, but whether it's in the arena of special needs planning or just planning for minors.
Yes. No, it's
Right?
true. It's
So-
very true. This is all very true. And
so
these are
if-
things that people just don't get.
Okay, so if you're a parent and you have a child that's even, let's say, 17, 18, 21, if they were to receive your house, would they know what to do with it at 21?
No.
If you gave a 10-year-old $10,000,
She'd blow it. Buy a
any
car.
guess? Any guess what they might? I don't know, like video games.
Yeah, well,
PayPal, video games.
no, it's true.
Trust me, I know.
There's a learning curve here. Everyone has to learn how to save more.
Mm-hmm.
So, or even when you're old, you're not good at it.
How about-
Casual Crew is watching. Casual Crew is
Oh.
filmmakers that are making a film. We actually had a movie shoot here the other night, right on the dance floor.
Oh, wow.
And they're watching, so thank you. We had a great time.
Hi,
with you
Casual Crew.
guys. Nancy Quintero and Rosemary Gridley, who is a firm watcher, and she probably really gets what we're talking about here.
Oh.
She's going through some issues herself. So everything you talked about is important, and I have to probably think that most of the people out there, 50 maybe now. You think 50% or no?
50% what?
No.
What?
to do?
Oh, well, here's the news flash. 7 out of 10 people have not even done a will.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Right. So the good news, like there's always silver linings in everything. Because of the pandemic, more people have thought about it, and more people have started doing their estate planning documents.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're in this new normal and we feel like we're getting back to life, normal, whatever we call normal, people are going, I'll do that later.
What about the people that have
Don't.
the reverse mortgage? Is that a whole different ball game?
So there's a time and a space and a place for a reverse mortgage, and they can benefit people's lives tremendously. I have a client right now. She is 96,
Wow.
and she has that's all she has is her house, and she doesn't have.
But is
Family.
it a reverse mortgage?
So she did a reverse mortgage, and it is feeding her lifestyle. Everybody's so happy when they've paid off their mortgage, and it's a big goal, right? Pay off the mortgage. I don't have to pay that anymore in retirement, right? But here's the thing. If you have a, $500,000 house, you're going to live in it. But your money is stuck in the concrete,
Yeah.
right? So I definitely don't, say everybody get a reverse
No,
mortgage.
some people have no choice.
In some cases, it really is all they have. So to be able to take advantage of that, there are good opportunities, certainly for some people. So my 96-year-old that's got nothing else but that, she has solid income. She's getting care, we were actually able to put her house in a trust so that she could
You were.
have the house protected
See, I didn't think you could with a reverse mortgage.
We can. We have to talk to the reverse mortgage company,
That's
make sure we get the
great.
right language in there for
A
them.
lot of
but-
people don't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say in the elder law world, the number one thing people want to do is protect their home. But so what's the difference? Let's say, if you think about it, if your house says Donna Stephens or your house says the trust of Donna Stephens, it's still my house.
It is, but the old
Still
people
my house.
they get nervous. They get nervous.
I know.
So what else didn't we talk about? I mean, you have such a big amount of things we could talk about here. The insurance protection. You actually sell life, accident, and health insurance.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a different part. The accident insurance, I'm curious about because my sister, God bless her soul in heaven, she loved it. She had a lot of kids. They made money on it.
What the
Accident
accidental
insurance.
So
Accident when you hurt your finger and you go to the doctor.
Right. Well, the way I focus on insurance as part of this, so the asset protection plan is really where I focus
Okay.
on as far as actually part of the legal plan, right? Because if we have assets and we now may be faced with care, we have different ways of paying for it. Some people say, well, I'm just going to spend all my money or hope I have enough. Some people say, well, I want to put my assets in trust, but I don't want to put them all in trust.
I have a friend that says I'm spending all my money because I worked for it, and guess what? When I die, too bad.
But the problem is we don't know when that's going to be. We don't have an expiration date, right? Or that we
right.
know of. So to be able to spend it all, great. But if we live longer than that, how are we going to take care of ourselves? How are we going to take care of ourselves if we need care? The care part, right? So some people look at long-term care insurance.
It's very expensive.
See, that's what everybody says.
Well, it is.
But maybe it is.
Most
But
of
maybe
the
it's
time.
not.
Okay.
But
well,
maybe it is when we look at all of those numbers. If I'm specifically telling you
it may not.
that
be.
the cost of care,
Isn't
and my clients some of them are paying it right now, painfully, paying $20,000 a month. A month? I don't know. Who has a calculator here? 20
Yeah.
times 12.
Yeah.
Thank you. $240,000 a year. I don't know any life and long-term care policies that cost $240,000 a year.
That's true. That's very
So
true.
it depends on what we consider expensive.
Right.
And of course, everybody's financial picture looks different. There may be people that can't afford it.
Yes.
But there may be people that just think they can't afford it.
Right.
And they have the assets to cover it. Now, people buy a house. And what do they buy? What kind of insurance?
House insurance,
Homeowners insurance.
mortgage insurance.
But they don't say, I can't afford homeowners insurance. It's too expensive.
Because if something happens, right.
Because you're going to lose your house.
So it's just a different type of mentality.
It's a mindset.
Yes. That's
Right.
true.
It's you want to protect yourself.
Right.
Invest in yourself.
Because you'll lose.
Right, because you can't afford to lose yourself. And I really repeatedly say, who do you want to brush your teeth for you if you can't
That's
do
a
it?
good one. I wonder if Gregg would brush my teeth if I got sick.
I don't know. We got to phone a friend.
If Gregg was here, he could probably
Greg.
say, I'm not brushing your teeth.
Right.
So now how do people reach you? What is your website? What's your Instagram? What's your LinkedIn? I know we're posting a lot. But
So it's www.stephanslawgroup.com, which specifically speaking, it's STEFANS. I've got one of those names that gets spelled 50,000 ways, so it's FANS.
and your Instagram?
And it's the same,
Good.
but you could always look for Donna Stephens as well. And
And I'm encouraging all of you to get on the phone and call this lovely dynamo and ask some questions and maybe make an appointment just to see where you're at.
well, that's the hardest thing to do is make that first appointment.
Right.
And what we do is when you make that first appointment, we give you an estate planning fact finder, right? And it's for you to set up before the meeting.
So that they come in with a little information.
Right. So well, what are my financial accounts? Well, who are the beneficiaries of my life insurance? You actually touch in on it before we even sit down. And then when we look at it, we can see
Guide them.
where the gaps are. you know, what it looks like, where you need to go. And that sitting down to that first meeting, I guarantee you, is the hardest part.
I'm sure. I hope you bought them donuts and coffee when they walk in the room.
Well, we did. We absolutely got coffee.
They'll be picking out. Let me
We
tell you.
have
They'll be so
candy.
nervous.
We have chocolate. Like the
Okay.
chocolate bowl is always filled.
Good.
But in the meantime, you know, that's the part. It's getting the hurdle of just getting to that first meeting.
Right.
Because once you do, that's when we take care of it. But you know, I also do many you know, workshops and
But that's the thing.
webinars
When are the
and
workshops? In the office or out?
both. And when you're you know, on my mailing list, or when we, you know,
Which you'll
we
add
get
us,
in-
definitely.
then you know, anyone's invited. I do a lot of work with the Alzheimer's Association, the Long Island Alzheimer's
Which
Association.
is great, yes.
And educating
The family.
families is
Right.
the most important thing.
Well,
to
especially when it
do.
comes to Alzheimer's and all those diseases, you know, and the special needs, you know.
Right, and that's another myth. The fact that you get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's
Get on the phone.
does not mean somebody doesn't have the capacity to do their documents before it's too late.
No, but it does happen fast, you know.
Right. So, and I'm not saying everybody with Alzheimer's should go do documents. These should be done in advance of that.
Of course.
But
of
you should
course.
then have the meeting. And think about not only how are you going to get taken care of, but what the dynamic impact.
What's going to
This is
happen to you?
all going to happen to my family.
Right. It's very true.
The care.
It really is.
It is an absolute sad fact.
It is. But,
More caregivers get sick and pass away before the person that they're taking care of
yeah, I know.
because of the stress of that and the love that they give and the sacrifice. Like, I applaud the caregiver. If any of you are caregivers out there, I applaud you today
Absolutely.
because it is a job that is inexplicable.
No, it's very true.
24/7,
Yep.
even if you have healthcare workers with you.
Right. And today you really want to get home and be cared for at home because of what's going on in the hospitals. You know,
Right.
you really do. You don't want to stay there.
Right. So our real goal is, look, invest in the time, spend the thought process time, kick the tires, come up with a plan, make this plan,
Make
and
that
then
appointment.
put it aside.
And there will be chocolate on the table.
There's chocolate on the table, but put it away. Put it away, and then come back to it when you need it.
And you'll be a little more knowledgeable.
And then you can go back to your hobbies and the art class and getting ready for retirement, all the happy things that are going to happen, knowing you're prepared.
Exactly.
But
you give very good advice, I
But
have to tell you.
also, exactly what you said before, get your family involved in it.
Definitely.
At least just tell them, look, I really don't want to get into this with you, but here's the person you need to call if something happens to me. Oh, and there's these crisis documents, they're here. So even
Yeah.
if you want to keep it very close to the vest, know that it's done. And most importantly, once you've done it, keep it in your head to check in on your plan either every 3 to 5 years, or if something has happened to one of your cast of characters.
Right.
So you could see that your child, you think they're the best care to make that healthcare decision for you, and then you watch them with another family member completely fall apart, and then you go, wait a minute.
That's not the way it's
That's
gotta
not
be.
for me. Or what if they move to
Well, yeah.
Alaska?
Plus, a lot of people put their parents on a list. I'm like, you got to pick people that are younger than you.
Maybe not today. Maybe
you
you do fit in that range, or your parents are
They're not
are
going to
the
be
ones.
able to do it, you know.
But
they're just
maybe they
not.
get to the point that they're
Yes.
not. So every 3 to 5 years, you check in on the plan. But you can't do that if you don't create the plan,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I'll tell you something. You're very creative. I could see you were a dancer, a singer. I could see you have such a great personality.
Thank you.
And last night I was looking at Miss Lapone, who's a Long
Patty
Islander,
Lapone.
and she won.
Wow.
So I had a conversation with you, and you're telling me you're related to her.
In the distance.
Well, I want to go see this play.
Okay.
And we're going to try and we'll do it together, a bunch of us.
Yes.
If I can get a group to get to see her.
Can I bring Marilyn?
Of course.
Okay.
I want to meet Marilyn, the great Marilyn.
Yes.
And maybe we could get a chance to meet her
Yes.
when she finds out you're a long lost So what, a relative?
Maybe.
Now that's weird that came out here.
I know, because it was sitting on the table
Because I
today.
cut it out today because I want to see this play. And I always loved this woman. I always did. And, you know, God bless her that she's still up there doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know her age.
Big time
but
talent, and definitely in the genetics as well. And this
yes,
all goes
and
back
she's
to
gorgeous.
Yeah, this goes back to the 1800s and the opera
Well,
world
that
in New York
this
City.
is you're gonna have to type that whole thing out for me when we get tickets.
Okay, I will.
Probably not be till the fall, December or something, November or something like that. But this has been very knowledgeable. We got a lot of people listening. We will share it. I ask all of you out there, share this, like it and share it to everybody you know. And then you could do it every week. And if you would want to, you don't even need to share it with anyone because you're the only guest today. So you got a double do today.
Thank you.
And I think it was great. And I want to thank our sponsors, of course, you, and also Tranquility Spa on Franklin Avenue. We're actually doing a big grand opening in 3 weeks. If you want to come, it's in Levittown.
A spa, just say when.
Okay.
When, how, I'll be there.
Or Pure Jewelers. It's at 1033 Hempstead Turnpike. If you ever need jewelry, he's fabulous. His name is Teddy.
I'm a fan of that too.
Well, he does a lot. He gives me a lot of nice things.
Oh, that's very nice.
And the tax man who does taxes, Jackson Hewitt Prince.
Yes, I'm very
Hempstead
familiar.
Turnpike, Franklin Square. Oh, you know them?
Yes, Jackson Hewitt, sure.
Yeah.
We're all in the tax world.
Yeah, those are our 3 sponsors for today. And I can't thank you enough. I can't believe how easy you made it for people to understand. Because this is a subject that people are afraid of.
Right. So imagine, just imagine, right, that we spent all this time planning for, the great parts of our life and our hobbies and our smiles and all the fun things we like to do, but we just get this done and out of the way so we can let all of those amazing things happen. And if things don't go right, we can live our best lives at all times to the best of our ability with the power.
It's great.
To empower ourselves.
Well, I want you back here at G's on that dance floor.
All right.
So you could show us what you
Let's
can
do
too.
it.
Your sing and dance routine.
Will you dance with me?
Of course. I just did it the other night. I can't believe I did.
As long as you dance with me.
Only for a short time, though, because I get tired.
Fine.
So, okay, and that's it, guys. That's a wrap.